Hello there, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be making Cricut Joy Smart Labels. I'm using the Craft Smart Labels. They are new from Cricut and they are made specifically to work with the Cricut Joy. They are smart labels and that means you can use them without a mat. I need some thank you labels for my shipping products and I thought I would take you along with me as we create these. So let's get started. The first thing I like to do when creating a project that has multiples and I'm trying to fit as much as I can on one sheet of paper is create a template so that I know how many images I can fit into that space. So we're working with the smart labels and they are 5.5 by 12 inches. What we know about smart labels is that we have to allow a little bit of room on the top of the smart label or the smart material and a little bit of room on the bottom of the smart material. And that's because the Joy needs to be able to hold on to that material while still writing in the upper, most corner of the top and the lowermost corner of the bottom. It still has to be able to grip that material. So it can't go all the way up to the edge. So you have to have a little bit of an allowance there. Similarly, when you're using a mat, you have that 1 inch or so edge around the mat. And that's why. It's so that the machines can hold on to the material. But when you're using smart material, it's edge to edge. So you've got to allow that room on the top and the bottom. That being said, this material is 5.5 by 12 inches. So I want to leave a little bit of room. I know that I can cut up to 10.5 inches long on a 12-inch piece of material. So again, if you want to use these smart labels, you can make your template 4.5 by 10.5 and you'll be fine. Don't make it any bigger than that. For this demonstration, I'm going to make mine 4.5 by 10. So what we're going to do is click Shapes. And I'm just going to grab a square, and this is going to serve as my smart label template. All right, so now I have my square. I want to turn this into a rectangle, so I'm going to click this lock in the lower left corner right here. You can also click it right up here in between the width and the height. And I'm going to change this to 4.5 by 10. Again, you could go up to 10.5. I'm just using what I used in my demonstration. So I want to be able to see this template a little bit better. So I'm going to click on the color swatch and I'm going to change this to white. That makes it easier to see. The next thing I need is the shape of my label. So I'm just going to grab Shapes and grab a circle. And I'm going to make my labels be, let's say 1.5 inches around. So this is going to represent my label. So again, I'm going to click on the color and I'm going to change that to white. Perfect. Now I need some text for my label. I'm going to click on text and I'm going to type thank you. I'm going to click Align Center. Now I'm making thank you labels. You could make, name tags. You could make gift card tags. You could make labels for packages. Whatever your label may be, you might want to draw your logo on it. Whatever you want to do, I'm doing thank you labels. Now, the first thing I like to do when I'm working with fonts is make it much bigger than it needs to be. So I'm just taking a look at this, and the first thing that I notice is over here in the layers panel, this says cut. I'm going to be writing this with the Cricut Joy pen, so I need to change that first and foremost. So I'm going to go up here to Style, and I'm going to click Writing. And that looks great, but that's not the style of label that I want. I would like to have something a little bit more fancy. So I'm just going to click up here on my font. And this is showing me the font that I'm using. I'm going to click on, let's get rid of this. I'm going to click on Cricut. And then I'm going to go over here to the filter. And I'm going to scroll down to Writing. This is going to show me all of the Cricut fonts that have a writing style, meaning that they are made to be written with the Cricut pens. You can use this whether you're working with the Explorer, the Joy, or whatever machines you're using with. If you're going to be using the pens, filter this out, and this is going to show you all the fonts that have a writing style in Cricut Design Space. I like this Alexis Maddox right here, Emma Ray. So I'm going to use that, and you'll see right here it says single layer cutting writing. That means it has a writing style. So I'm going to click on that. And that looks much closer to what I was looking for. But the first thing I notice is that these letters are not connected. I like my script writing to be connected as if it was really handwritten. So I like to first start out with letter spacing, and I'm just going to use the down arrow and pull these closer together. And sometimes this is all you need, but sometimes, like this, okay, I've got the H and the A connected, but these two are not connected. Those aren't lined up right. So as soon as I get the first two letters connected, and sometimes none of the letters connect, so as soon as I get them pretty close, I'm just going to right click and click ungroup. What that's done is put each letter on its own layer over here. So I'm just going to click on this N and nudge it over a little bit so that it looks connected like it should. Oops. Try that again. You might want to use your arrow keys just to keep everything straight, but I'm just clicking and dragging. And I just want everything to look like it is flowing the way it should. That looks good. And then I'm going to move this U over a little bit. And that looks good. So now I'm going to grab just the word U and make it a little bit closer here. That looks good to me. So now I'm going to select all of this, and now I'm going to shrink it down to my label size. And again, I want to double check over here. All of these say draw. So we are on the drawing style. I'm going to put this on my label. Maybe I can make it a little bit bigger. That looks great. So now what I need to do is tell the Cricut that I want it to cut around this circle, that I want it to write those labels or write the words on top of the label. And in order to do that, all I do is select both, go over here and check my layers panel. This is all the writing is drawing and the circle is uncut. That's what I want. So I want to keep those together. So how I do that is select both, right click, and attach. Now my label is set up the way I want it. The Cricut's going to cut around the circle and it's going to write on top of the label. If you don't do that last step, what it's going to do is cut out a bunch of circles, and then it's going to write thank you a million times, and they're not going to be on top of each other. So you have to click attach to keep those two connected. Okay, so I've got one label the way I want it. Now what I'm going to do is right click, copy, right click, paste. Right click, copy, right click, paste. Right click, copy, right click, paste. And what I'm going to do is start lining these up on my template to see about how many I can get in a row. So there's 1, 2, 3. You don't want them to overlap. Right click, copy, right click, paste. As soon as I get one row done, this goes much faster. Copy, paste. Okay, so I have a row done. I'm going to move my rectangle out of the way. I'm going to grab all of those, and I'm just going to click align left. All right, and that one can go up just a little bit higher. It doesn't have to, but all right. So I have a whole row of stickers. It doesn't look like I could get a whole lot more on my template. So what I'm going to do is grab this whole row without grabbing that rectangle. And again, I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. Now I have 2 rows. And I'm going to do it one more time. Right click, copy, right click, paste. Now I have 3 rows. But I can tell already this is not going to fit within my cuttable area for the Cricut Joy. Almost, but not quite. So what I'm going to do is grab this last row, and I'm just going to make a smaller version of the labels. Oops. Select the row, move it over, Let's see how we're doing. That's going to fit just fine. So now I can fill up this space. Right click copy, right click paste. Put another small one right here. I might be able to get one more. Right click copy, right click paste. So you can fill up this sheet with, all the same images. You could fill it up with all different labels if you wanted to have your different kids' names or classroom names or whatever you're doing. They don't all have to be the same, but once you get your labels set up and they fit within your template, what you're going to do is take the template away. So drag it to the side and just delete it. And now we need to select all of these. Then we're going to right click and attach. And that's telling Cricut Design Space, we don't want you to rearrange these. We want this just the way it is. And by doing that, it now will fit on top of that label and you won't be wasting any more material than you need to. So it takes just a second and you'll see over here, it says everything's attached. Looks great. So we're going to click Make It. We're using Smart Labels, so we're going to use it without a mat. You can see right here, it says for Cricut Smart Materials only. So you're going to choose that option, click Done. And you can see it is set up exactly the way we had it. It's telling us that based on our layout, our material must be at least 11 inches in length. That is because when you're using smart materials, the machine needs room to load it in. So it's going to pull it in. It needs room to load it in here, and it needs room to be able to go all the way down to the bottom so that it can print and still hold on to it. So you're going to lose a little bit of material just on the top and just on the bottom. So it's saying that we need at least 11 inches. These are 12 inches long, so this is perfect. So we're going to click Continue. Detecting the Joy. We're going to choose the Smart Label Writable Paper, and it's telling us to put the pen in. I've already done that. I'm using the Cricut Joy pen. You can't use your regular Cricut pens in here. You need to use the Cricut Joy. The difference with this versus a Maker or an Explorer is you just simply drop the pen in just like that. You don't push it. You don't wait for that click. You just drop it in and close it. And now we're going to load our material. We're going to place the material under the guides, push it towards the rollers. Joy's checking to make sure that I have enough material. And then we have to go back to the screen and click Go. Okay, so now it's telling me to install the fine point blade. So we're going to take the pin out, put the blade in. Again, we're just going to drop it in, close it, and click Go on the screen. Okay, once it's complete, you click Unload on the screen. And it will unload. And there you can see we have perfectly cut round labels. And I often ship things from my website, and I just use these to close up my packaging. Super cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I can't wait to see what kind of smart labels you're going to be making with your Cricut Joy. I do have the Cricut Joy and the smart labels linked in the description below the video. If you use that link, it is an affiliate link, and I appreciate that. It helps support this channel at no cost to you. While you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video if you found it helpful. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys later. Never stop making. Bye-bye.